What is up, everybody? It's RC, and today we're going to be going over a rather interesting Batman story that a lot of people would never have thought would actually be made. So, we're going to be going over Sean Gordon Murphy's 2017 to 2018 run on Batman White Knight. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, White Knight. Wouldn't that sort of fall into the same realm of problems as something like the New Warriors, per se, with Snowflake and Safe Space? And looking at it from just the naming standpoint, one would probably think yes. However, I would disagree. Unlike with those names, John Gordon Murphy took the Batman White Knight series and turned it into something that fans can enjoy. I'm going to go into that a little bit later on in the video, but right now I'm going to detail exactly how I got into this series. Now, as I've already covered, it was a series that started in 2017, and it was advertised all throughout 2017. I think the first issue came out in December, and yep, it came out in December. So, my first introduction to this comic was the advertisement where there's just a singular image of Joker with no makeup and Harley Quinn and Batman in chains with the text Batman White Knight splattered across it. It's not something that I would think that I would want to see, and at that point I didn't want to see it because I was thinking the same thing that anyone would think whenever they see those words. It's like you're turning the mythos in on itself, and you're making it into something that is completely stupid. Like, the advertisement was pretty much centering around, what if Joker went sane? Well, the unfortunate part of that is that no one really wants to see a sane Joker. That's his appeal. He's insane. And that certainly didn't help whenever we see a bit of promotional pieces from the actual book itself, where it has Batman in a jail cell and perfectly sane Jack Napier saying, "Batman, I need your help." That would be something that would sort of turn off a regular Batman fan. However, after the book started coming out, I saw several video essays by comic book YouTubers like Comic Storian, Comics Explained, Just Some Guy, and I think your boy Zach did some videos on them as well. And they started to turn me around to them. They were saying that at this point it was still in the beginning of the run. They were saying that this had the possibility of being a very intriguing story, and one that could very well be made for Batman fans. So, I scurried on down to one of my local comic shops. I'm lucky enough to have two. That being Infinity Comics. And I got the first 3 issues. Now, we have the first issue, where it has Batman standing on top of a pretty epic Batmobile once you get into the story, that is spray painted like what Joker would do, saying, "You had your chance." So already, that's drawing people in because this is not a situation that Batman's been in before. At least not that I know of. And it's something that, from these video essays, it's pretty darn good. And then we move on to the second book, which is pretty much Batman and his shadow, encompassing everything that Joker has. And you also have Joker pretty much in front of a shrine to Batman, which is not something that you would think of. Granted, you know that Joker is obsessed with Batman, but that's been true with all of his iterations. And then you have the third issue, which I only got the first 3 issues at that point. And since I'm a fan of Harley Quinn, this one's really good because you have her classic design, and then you have her Suicide Squad redesign. And yes, there are 2 Harleys in this book. There's the original one, whenever he first started out, and then there's the one that he sort of unknowingly replaces her with after she leaves. Now, I read through those books, really liked them, and then I heard that there was going to be a trade paperback coming out. So, wait until the paperback came out because each of these was, they're about $4 each. So, I got the trade paperback, and as a cover of the second issue, still epic, and read it all, and gotta say, I was not expecting it to be this good. It's a book written for true Batman fans, from anyone who has come from any of the different Batmans, whether you watch the Michael Keaton films, or Batman Forever, or God knows, even Batman and Robin, or whether you watch the Batman the Animated Series, or the Golden Age comics, or the Bronze Age, or the Silver Age. All of those, they all have reference. This comic makes reference to all of them, and pretty much anything Batman related, you'll find it in this book. There's even stuff from the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. It is chock full of sort of fan service and pretty much acknowledging that these people who are going to be reading this book are going to be they're going to be satisfied with the story because these are characters that they know and they're familiar with, while also adding new aspects to it, like there being 2 Harleys. This book, whenever I first started with it, I started off, obviously, with the advertisements being like, I don't really care about this. And then after reading about it and hearing about it, I was like, okay, this can be pretty good. At the end of this, I've got to say, this is probably one of the best Batman stories that I've read. Like, I would put this up there with The Killing Joke and Mad Love. It is that good. John Gordon Murphy, all the more props to you. Because this could have really been a really cheesy book, but he made this awesome. Now, what I wanted to make this video about. The title, Batman, White Knight. this is not something that has to do with anything with social justice or anything. This title is something that is turning the Batman Dark Knight mythos and turning it in on itself. With Joker being sane, or semi-sane, as you'll find out in the book if you read it, he becomes the White Knight of Gotham. Instead of Batman being the Dark Knight and fighting crime in the shadows and being all secretive about his identity and all of that, Joker becomes sane. Again, in the story it makes sense. And sort of takes that crime fighting and brings it into the public eye. As instead of being the Dark Knight, he is the White Knight. He is the one who can have his face plastered on the billboards and playing on the news stations, because he is bringing the gritty and grimy fight against crime into the public's eye. So he's bringing it out of the darkness and into the light. Hence, the White Knight. That is a way that you can make that sort of title work. Stuff like what is coming out now with New Warriors will not work. Because this at least has a reasonable leg to stand on in its story. And it is able to expand upon a mythos and detail the symbiotic relationship between Batman, the Dark Knight, and Jack Napier, Joker, the White Knight. Now, I'm curious what all of you guys think about Batman White Knight. Do you think that it is one of the best Batman stories ever written? Or do you think it's just another story? Or were you like me whenever I first heard about it and you're just indifferent to it? I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. Please leave them down in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications to stay up to date with the channel, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.